your lives, I'll say indeed, and greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. Thank you so much for joining me here again on another live stream, another moment, another day in which we can be happy. You know, there's no guarantees that we're going to be happy in any given day, but we definitely can be happy. So, if anything, if I have any wishes for your day going forth, if I have any wishes for this stream, is that it can share a little bit of happiness with you, and then you can take that happiness with you throughout the rest of your day. Christian, what the fuck, oh?
It looks here.
What the fuck?
Calm it down.
I look up to this dude and he has a pair of pliers in his mouth, pretending that he's gonna rip one of his teeth out. Oh, you want me to put this there?
You're so easily scareable.
I am, bro, especially when it comes to teeth, though. Oh goodness.
Oh, you're still
No
rolling.
teeth things. Hey, Carmelia. It's nice to have you here, my friend. Happiness is definitely going to be our intention for today.
I thought it was the most important thing to learn.
Yeah, but that's the intention on the Garrick.
Yes.
Yeah, see. Happiness. You know, the place, the moment, the lesson, if you will, that kind of brought on today's topic is actually something that I was discussing with Christian yesterday. We were having a conversation, Christian was having a conversation with me about, the past, about, again, societal expectations, based on societal expectations, how we're failing, Christian considering himself less than masculine, and we're going through this entire trip, and we basically come to this standoff, if you will, and he asked me, do you know what the most important lesson is? And I answer him, the most important lesson is learning how to be happy. And he says no. He says to me, the most important lesson is learning how to be patient. To which I added, after you learn how to be patient, that's when you actually, I believe, at least in some way, achieve true happiness. We've had, this thing we've been saying on stream as of late, that happiness, unhappiness rather, is the want for things to be differently. So, if we can then reverse engineer that statement, happiness would be to want for things to be as they are. And if you can't be patient within how things are, in the state that things are in right now, then you won't be able to be happy. And it's difficult. It really, it's such a fundamental part to human existence, being happy. We know what the word means, and we see these interpretations of it in movies and advertisements and people's Instagram stories. Not that I use Instagram, I'm just, making an example. Like, this is now what a happy life is. I'm happy. Look, I'm smiling. Look, I'm celebrating. Look, I'm sharing. Means I'm happy.
I'm happy.
Are you happy, Christian?
I'm always happy.
Are you happy, I'm not talking about us, any of us in specific. I'm just talking about the world at large. There's a reason we're in the middle of a global epidemic. When it comes to our mental health as well, there's a reason psychedelics are making a comeback into the mainstream public, because we literally need it. Human beings are not doing all right now. We need to be happy, friends. We deserve...
I'm doing fine.
What?
What?
What? You're doing fine, Christian?
Yo.
If you're fine, everybody else must be in absolute pandemonium level 7. Especially level 7. As my evaluation, I'm guessing, date gets closer, I'm getting more nervous. But I'm also excited for Wednesday because I get to pick out a new pair of glasses. Okay, Scarmelia. Just I'm guessing a new frame. You basically have like prescriptions for your lenses, and then you're probably getting a new frame. Do you want a specific shape? Do you have any color in mind you want to get? Which one, if any, is going to make you happy? And on the note of you feeling nervous about your evaluation coming up, I mean, it's not like you have to study for it or anything. You're gonna be fine. You're gonna be so fine, Scarmelia. You're gonna be fine, friend. Like, do, reach out, share some time in this space beforehand. If you still feel nervous, we'll be here with you. We'll be calm. We'll have some cool conversations. Are you the guys German? Are you guys German by any chance? No, SCP. I am Afrikaans, technisch. Christian is Belgaars, maar hy lewe in Suid-Afrika vir die laaste hoeveel? 15
Since I was 6, bro.
since he was 6. So for the last 20 years, Christian has been living in South Africa. So he understands bits of Afrikaans, and me and him can speak Afrikaans to each other, mostly jokingly. Like, exclamations will be spoken in Afrikaans, but we won't have conversations in Afrikaans. That's mostly English. How about you, SCP? Where are you from, friend? I'm guessing just from America, but where from America? Sounds like Israel. I don't really know too much about Israel. I have a friend, good old STZ, that comes from Israel, but I don't know what context you're saying what you're saying. Dwarf, it's so nice to have you here, my friend. Nice shirt combo, it's quite. Thank you, Dwarf. I appreciate you, genuinely. Thank you for your love. Neither or neither, or you are correct. Neither or you are correct. Huh? I'm sorry. Scarmelia, neither glasses, neither frames nor normal lenses. Are you getting both done? Like, I'm curious now, actually, Scarmelia. North Europe somewhere. No, South Africa somewhere. Oh, STZ! Oh, goodness. Were you here when I was talking about you literally seconds ago? Whatever I was saying apparently sounds like Israel. So I don't know what that was about, but it just made me think about you, friend. Thank you for joining us. My evaluation is for my previous hip surgery, so I'm gonna be. You can be playing down. I'm not trying to make your nervous any less than it's supposed to be, Scarmelia. Fortunately, you get to be nervous as your nervousness wants to be. It's not gonna negatively affect me per se, but I want you to know that it's gonna be okay. If the evaluation comes back negatively, then at least you could have the evaluation, and now you know. If it comes back positively, then at least you had the evaluation, and you know. You know? you know. Hey, it's Easy again. Just so nice to have you here. Naren is here with us again. It's been a while, my friend. I've missed you. Thank you for joining us again. How have you been, dude? How's life been treating you? Have you learned anything? Have you been happy? What have you learned about being happy? Have you learned how to be happier? Questions for you, Naren. I meant to say off melt. Let me see. Neither of you are correct. Neither of you are correct. I'm still tripping. I'm sorry. I'm from Scotland. Okay. SCP, Scotland. Were you born there? Have you stayed there your entire life? Do you still live there? I'm guessing you still live there if you're saying you're from there now. Lol, yeah, I just joined when you said my name. SDZ summoned you into this space. What are the odds? Like, the amount of synchronicity to happen, for you in your entire life, your entire existence, your entire fractal of being, to come into this space in a random ass moment where someone mentions Israel, and I have to remember my one Israeli friend that I have, and then that Israeli friend happens to be here. You know what? I can't even. Thank you. Thank you for being here with me, my friend. On that note, I am going to light a little candle for all of our friends who are not here right now. Man, it smells so nice. And it's beautiful. I wanna learn how to be happy. Me too, brain. Me too. I'm actively trying to. Like, what have you learned so far that has helped you be happy? Unfortunately, a lot of the things I've learned in the pursuit of learning how to be happy has been bittersweet, if that makes sense. It's like there are harsh realities to happiness, if that makes sense. Like if you want to be happy, certain things needs to happen in your life as well. And I'm not going to tell you what those things are, because that's quite the point, you know. You have to find your happiness. But it can be difficult. It's very difficult. And I think it's for a lot of people, it's a lifetime pursuit. Some people give up. Some people kind of just get so into the experience they're living that they kind of accept that as the only one. I'll be back in a split second. I'm just gonna get myself an ashtray. I missed some. You're a funny fella. I saw your stream last night too. Why, Andrew? That's nice of you to say. Thank you. Like, genuinely. I would like to consider myself funny, but it's very difficult to call yourself funny, you know. If you call yourself funny and you believe that unequivocally, you're probably not funny. So the fact that you're telling me just blushes my heart, dude. Thank you so much. But yes, I'm getting new frames, and finally, 100% correction. They were working me up. They were working me up because a fully correction right away was giving me migraines. Ah. Is it like the shift in lenses? I thought it only gives you migraines if your prescription is misaligned. But that's very interesting, Scarmelia. I'm happy that you're gonna get your proper pair of glasses right now. I hope it doesn't do the same thing. I'm going to do my physio while streaming. Thank you for joining us here, for sharing the space with us. Listen to the voice. You know, when you are resting in between reps, send us a little message. That's trippy, lol. Human beings, just human existence is the real trippy thing. SDZ, because we can, you know, me and you, the fact that this whole thing happened, that we kind of met each other as I was talking to you almost, you know, it was like, universe, I have this beautiful friend. And universe was like, me? And then you were there, SDZ. You know, and then you can be like, you can trip out. Both of us can trip out super hard about how crazy that is. Or we can pretend like that's exactly the way it's supposed to be. Or like, yeah, of course. Obviously. What do you mean? Nothing strange about it. Just awareness. Thank you for being aware here with me, SDZ. I will take your positive energy and use it to push through my fissure. Please do, dwarf. Please do. Whew, that brings warmth to my heart just thinking about it. Yes to all. Yes to all to you, SPC. I'm happy to hear it, my friend. Scotland. The Scottish. I wanted to try and mimic a Scottish accent, but I'm probably gonna butcher it. I'm probably going to try and mimic Nelson the dog's accent, which is more Irish. Scottish. Do you pull your O's a little bit further? No, I can't. I can't though. Can you, Christian? Laugh.
You don't have to mock me, you fucking saggy bitch.
It's quite impressive, it is. Oh man. Yeah, you got this, friend. Sending positive vibes to you. Thank you, SDZ, for sharing the love. Ja, kruk, oh. Ja, reiki me.
Bro, thanks for the invite.
Bro, like you kind of moved. I see you sitting here with me waiting for the joint. I see you pretending to pull your teeth out with pliers. I see you gone. And then I came and get an ashtray and you're like, come back. And I'm like, bruh, what do you think I was using the ashtray for? Oh, whatever happens, you're gonna do great. Absolutely. You want
Oh.
some more puff?
Okay.
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 Come sit though. I'm gonna smoke this joint at
I will.
Mach speeds.
You. I want to take up your little setup there. It looks fine there. Mm. Whoever got you this must have loved you, bro. Shit.
I'm not sure if he loves me anymore. Do this shit. He's picking up one of the scarves he gave me. He's like, whoever gave you this must have loved you. Oh. Oh, I love you still, my friend. I'm stealing my hairbands. Hey, Kira Burp! Thank you for the helpful friend. It's so nice to have you here. I have a chronic condition, but when I feel down, I try to remind myself that I have it kind of good in terms of medicine and treatment. SPC, I'm so happy to hear that you have that perspective. One of the biggest things that I also think about when I hear of people's medical ailments, there is this initial sense of, I'm so sorry that this is happening to you. And then basically directly after that, this gratitude kicks in that they have access to the resources, have access to the medical professionals and facilities to actually get, professional help. And in that way, like I have a friend, Yuan, he, if it wasn't for medical intervention, he wouldn't have reached adulthood. And that happens for a lot of people. Like so much human life and so much human suffering is being saved. We just need to get it to a point where we don't expect people to die for it or work themselves to death for it. I went too long without glasses and my eyesight is very uneven. Nearly blind in my left eye and the right eye is very close to fine. It's called Anisometropia. Anisometropia, maybe like that. That's interesting, Scarmelia. Is the condition basically something that happens to your eyes and then you have the one-sided or one side worse than the other, or when you have one side worse than the other, that's what it's called? Like, which can is get around? Compared to all of history, really, SBC, like people have been, like for instance, if you go back 500, 700 years and you're out, in the middle of a jungle and you're like walking through the jungle and you're like falling down and there's a big stick pointing out of the ground and that stick punctures your skin anywhere. Dead. You just die. No antibiotics. No antibiotics. Dead. Like, oh, a small cut. Dead.
Yes, you had other methods then.
Dude,
you had like
alcohol, boiling stuff,
wine.
alcohol, salts worked as well, but a lot of people died from like minor wounds, dude, very minor wounds.
Like amputation.
Dude, there was a thing called bloodletting and also cranial pressure relief. So either cutting a hole in your arm and just letting yourself kind of bleed out, or puncturing a hole in your skull to let the demons out. And then we're like, medicine.
Did it work though?
No, like
Did it work, though?
people placeboed themselves into thinking it worked, probably. Man, have some cocaine to chase the demons away, pretty much type of medical history or medical professionalism back in the day. Like literally 120 years ago, doctors were the stuff they were doing is, by today's standards, they would get lynched. It's hilarious, actually. Hey, Matthias, thank you for the party train. What's up with you, dude? I'm doing so well. How's life been with you, man? I'm guessing you're finished with school at the moment, right? Maybe you finished with school in the meanwhile. It's nice to have you here, dude. Thank you for joining us, man. Yeah, I like the second one, right? STZ. Then you're a little bit more cool. It's nice to trip out about things, and get super excited. But it's also nice to be cool, super calm about these things. Pretend like it's not that much of a big deal. All you have to remember is that you're the big deal. STC, you're great, my friend. Thank you for sharing this time with us. SCP, I also have a chronic condition, joint hypermobility syndrome. Hypermobility. Does it mean your joints are more mobile? I'm guessing, right? Hypermobility? Man, I really wish I had either an extra device, maybe just like somewhere in my field of vision, that I could just instantly fact check things. Fact check myself? Oh goodness. I might exhaust myself by fact checking myself. But the second thing is just, go and look up things like joint hypermobility syndrome. Give myself a nice little explanation, maybe a photo of how that stuff works, and then this void I have in my head right now would feel a little bit more full. Hey! Freaking Heather is here again, dude. Hi, friends. I had to search the sub, but found yes. Are you still having trouble logging into the streams, Heather? Are you trying through the link? Is it happening to anybody else? Please do let me know, friends. I'm so sorry to hear it if it's the case. Seems to be a little spicy. Andrew says, I'd have to agree with what you said earlier. If you openly say you are something, you probably aren't. It's this paradox also of those who know don't say anything, and those who say things don't know anything. And this is a saying slash quote I'm taking from Ram Dass right now. And how in the situation that we find ourselves in right now, technically I have to say something, right? If I don't say anything, it's gonna be a little bit lackluster. Me just smoking a joint, us staring back and forth at each other. I mean, that could be intimate, but it would be a little bit limited, at least in the expression. So, how do we know and say, the things that we do know? And I feel one of the caveats that I kind of put on top of that whole understanding is that I don't know. Fundamentally, the things we're talking about, the things we're exploring, the ideas we're discussing, I'm not pretending like these are the ultimate ones. I'm a 100% authority on these things. We're exploring that potential, one perspective, and then every single one of you add your perspective to that, adds to the fullness of that picture. This is a co-creation. The stream in my mind, quite literally, becomes these hyperdimensional objects. Every word that's said, every topic that is explored, every person that joins and gives their input as well, it becomes this hyperdimensional object. I'm gonna make it eventually. I have ideas as to how to make those. They don't have to be hyperdimensional, they can be virtual technically. And in a way they are hyperdimensional if they're virtual. Because you're seeing an object in a space that is not this one. Anyway, so yeah. You friends are creating works of art right now. Constantly. Oh, your friend's accent isn't bad. He's great. He's so great. And like you're being approved of, your Scottish accent, Christian.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, mate, he says. Also, I misspelled Anisometropia. 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 Maybe that's the way you say it. I'm not exactly sure. It's completely against Cornelia. Hey, freaking red clicker. Hey, Mel. Morning, Christian. Oh, thank you. Red clicker says hello, Christian.
Goedemorgen.
Goedemorgen, says Christian. Love to you, Red. Thank you for joining us, my sister. Just in time to hear Christian laugh at Mel's attempt at an accent. Heather, of course. There's no rest for the wicked. I have to be, humbled, and especially living in this space. I'm under constant battery, constant battery. I literally I sleep with a shield, metaphorical of course, mental, metaphysical maybe, because I'll just be sitting. While I was at my sickest, just to like share this visual story with you. Like you've heard him before, object when I say things that aren't true. So listen to him not object. I'm like basically melting into my chair, trying to use the least amount of physical energy as I can to try and channel all of that into getting better. My eyes are like at 5% open. My nose is like, burning. I look like absolute death. And I'm like watching a show or something. Literally, it's like all of a haze almost. And Christian is sitting across the table from me. And he stands up. And I look at him. And he just starts flipping me off. And I look at him in such a, a sheer sense of defeat. Like, oh, what can I do? There's nothing to be done. I'm dead. I'm dead and you're flipping me off. And it's just like that. Just that whole feeling, that whole energy. That's basically how it goes here. But it helps. And I had this conversation with him as well. I consider myself to be pretty stable when it comes to my own self-image slash my personal understanding of ego. So him being a little bit abrasive, isn't going to take away anything because there's nothing to be taken away, right? So if you want to think of your ego as this, so okay, let me backtrack a little bit. I consider us these multi-layered, multi-dimensional beings, and I consider our soul as the highest state of that multidimensionality. But paradoxically, adding layers onto that higher state of existence creates separation from it, but also depth to it. So in that way, we have this, in my opinion, like this is just how I visualize it for myself. We have these fundamental soul body underlying our entire experience, and that soul body is fundamental awareness. It's the experiencer. It is I. It is God consciousness. It is ultimate awareness. And then over that, or through that, we basically attach this brain. And then this brain basically attaches this mind. And this mind kind of becomes aware of the body. And then as a result of this mind-body awareness, there becomes or forms this ego. And then this ego can technically go as far as to embody a persona as well. And in that way, these things can be seen as these paint jobs, entire, fractals of reality that you separate yourself from your fundamental self. And in a situation slash relationship where someone only identifies with the ego layer, with the persona layer, with the body layer, with the mind layer, and it happens to all of us. And I considered, before I ever became very spiritual, I considered myself an intelligent person. Like, and it's funny for me to just say that, because after spirituality I realized how stupid I am. But before that, like especially during my atheism days, I considered myself so fucking clever, because I'm an atheist living in this, extremely Christian community. And I believe because I could see through this nonsense, I was more intelligent than all of these peers that I had. And that was literally quite that identification of mine. I wasn't too concerned with my looks. I wasn't too concerned with playing a persona and feeding into people's expectations of me. But the mind thing, like being intelligent, having a vast library of things you can think and talk about, that was what I took pride in. And it was very fragile. Like being told you're stupid when you identify with that part of yourself drives you insane. It can make you a monster, just like that. and I saw that. I saw it through, I guess, just the lens of the observer. And in that way, like the point I'm trying to make, me and Christian, I genuinely consider ourselves as that awareness permeating this experience. So any layers, be it mind, be it body, be it persona, be it ego, an attack of those things is quite literally an attack of that which is separate. So if I was to take offense, it would literally mean I consider myself something that's lacking. He's gonna be abrasive and scratch my paint. No, it cannot be scratched. It cannot be taken away from. Woo! What a trip! What a trip! Huh? What a freaking trip! Or maybe none of it. Maybe we're actually just meat suits. Probably not, bro. Probably not. I have type 1 diabetes, but thankfully in Scotland insulin and etc. is free. That's the way it's supposed to be, HBC. I'm happy that you have access to that, my friend. Hearing that people, oh goodness, like it disturbing. Hearing that people have to spend like $600 a month on insulin in America, like, it doesn't, dude, did you hear that, Christian?
Yeah, I kind of shadowed it.
Bruh, $600 a month just to live.
$600? That's like a PlayStation 5 game.
Dude, it's a month's worth of groceries. Like, a month's worth of groceries for a family, basically. You can feed your entire family for an entire month. I'm not sure exactly what food prices are like in America, but in South Africa you would easily be able to feed an entire family for $600 a month. And then on top of that, that's just you to like living. You can't even eat food if you don't have insulin in your body. Goodness. And then America is this first world country. So many other countries, the actual first world countries, have figured out the medical system. This military budget that got passed, and I know it doesn't help sharing these things, and we get angry and we get even more frustrated because these things are not in our controls. In our control. 63 billion US dollar military budget. For what? For what? Why? There was literally like something like $1 trillion worth of equipment left in Iraq. Oh, yeah, yeah. it's freaking please, and then there is this social narrative that's being pushed, and sometimes I'm victim to it as well, that we should tax just the billionaires more, and if we do that, that's going to fix the problems. But fundamentally the problem is the government. It is this global gangsterism system that are the only ones allowed to use violence. They're the only ones allowed to use violence. And they're also the only ones allowed to, dictate rules for banking systems, dictate rules for business. It's really gangsterism. And we're just like, oh yeah, that's how it is. Why is it like this? And I feel, I'm a 20-year-old dude, so I'm barely not a child anymore. And then I walk into this world and I'm like, whoa, whoa, I don't know anything. But the little bit that I do feel I know feels wrong. Something feels wrong. Brother, I have to respond to you in your message. But the one thing you need to know is that you always have a home here with me. Oh, Kira Burb, it's really okay, my friend. It's thinking from the perspective of, being, in my parents' opinion, of what successful is. Being able to have my parents over, for example. And as I said as well in that message, I'm okay with waiting. Again, this understanding of happiness. I won't be happy unless I've mastered patience. And if I can be properly patient, then we will be happy. Expect things to be as they are. As the opposite of unhappiness is expecting things to be differently. So I'm okay, Kara Burke. Thank you, beloved sister. Thank you so much. I'm okay. On that note, and thank you for bringing that up, do you friends who would be willing to, would you be willing to, please, like reach out to Uncle Becky, or don't even reach out. I'm on the subreddit right now. If you click on this subreddit, you should be able to find a link tree. If you have a buck to spare, maybe $5 to spare, be willing to chip in, send Uncle Becky and Aunt B, Emma and Bobby, some Christmas money. I would really appreciate it, friends. Anisometropia is just a fancy word for uneven eyesight. Thank you, Scarmelia. That makes sense. Makes a lot more sense. I appreciate it. Big words hard. Me monkey. The kids would be happy with Uncle not here forever. Goodness, Kira Verb. Dead. The eat. Dead. Uncle Becky, are you dying, brother bear? The masculine dies. The feminine Shiva, powerful women, divine energy triumphs over the dead masculine. We're dying, Uncle Becky. We're dying out here. Oh, yes, actually dying. Dying in a way that feels worse than actually dying. Because it's like dying, parts of you is dying that you usually thought were important to you. And sometimes the world will do things to kill parts of yourself that might seem a little bit cruel. And it will get crueler and crueler unless you let go. Cranial pressure relief is still used today. It is, dwarf? Is it used in the professional medical industry, or is it used with like private practitioners, let's call them? Novel oodle noises. Thank you for joining us, God. Yeah, dude. We're just making noises, man. We're just making noises. That's actually something that I like to say to Christian as well. If I'm talking about things or I'm tripping out about something and I'm just saying things, trying to reason it out, and he's like, what? What are you saying? And then I'll just reply, I'm just making noises, though. I'm just making some noise. Human beings. Merlin. God. It's so nice to have you here, genuinely, man. Just got here. Can anybody bring me up to speed? Who are these guys? Alimi, thank you for joining us. We're the Melt family, basically. We've been doing this for 345 days. I've been showing up every single day to be in this space. We've missed technically 2 days, on Reddit itself. The first day that we missed, I couldn't log onto my account anymore. Or they randomly did like a wide sweep blocking of a bunch of accounts, so I couldn't stream on that account. And the second time was quite recently when we had like a 18-hour power outage. But for the rest of them, we've been showing up, dude. We've been here, we've been talking about things like this, we've been exploring ideas. Today's idea or thing we're exploring is how to be happy and what happiness really means. How patience is something that really helps with that as well. Have you learned anything about being happy, how to be happy? Would you be willing to share, friend? I would love to know. Monkey in suits. Watch and enjoy. Good morning. Thanks. How to go live on Reddit, please. You'll see there's a little bit of an X button here. If you click that, you should be able to go live, brother bear. Joint hypermobility syndrome means my joints are too loose. Okay, so it is that. The tissue holding my joints together is stretching to the point of allowing frequent injuries and dislocations. Like the first thing that comes to my mind in a way to remedy that, and I'm not telling you that this is what you should do, this is just what my logical brain is trying to articulate and say. Wouldn't exercise be the most important thing, like gradual body weight exercise be the most important thing to kind of get that done as well? Now, Amelia, you've probably done all of it. Mm, Key feed keeps cutting out. I'm sorry, SBC. If it is really bad, you should be able to actually get it on the YouTube as well. If you click on, I don't think you can do that anymore actually. Man, they changed the stuff. If you open my account, there's a YouTube link as well. We're streaming on YouTube as well. It should be a little bit more stable. And weirdly enough, SBC, I don't know if this stuff's important to you, but you have 1717 next to your name, and right now it says 17 minutes have passed since you sent that message, so trip out with me. Synchronicity. Yes, Melt, I missed you as well. Happiness, fulfillment, or the exclusive sensation of well-being is what I've been hunting as an insatiable wanting machine. I try breaking from the familiar algorithms of adulthood. Not sad, not sure if I'm happy. Hmm. That's beautiful, Marin. For what it's worth, like even though the message can be classed as melancholic, it was very beautiful as well. I think, calming down. The weird thing about our want to break out of the algorithm of adulthood is all of it has some sort of bias or limitation to it. Either it's a financial one, or it's a social one, or it's a discomfort to get there one. There's always these excuses that we can make. And as a result of that, and the feeling of that, I genuinely believe that if we meditate and calm down just in our own spaces, that's the only way to calm completely down like that. If you can genuinely just spend time with yourself, sure. Like, the ironic part is the longest I can really do is maybe 40 minutes. And then it's too much for me as well. But if you can take 5 minutes out of your day to just meditate a little bit, see if it changes. See if it helps you be happier. Aaron, you probably do meditate, my friend. But I feel like the biggest thing of meditation is, falling out of touch with it again, getting into these loops of being very in touch with it and then falling out of touch with it. And then also, we know how valuable that experience is. And yet we also don't go for it. In the same way we don't exercise sometimes, in the same way we like eating, food that is maybe unhealthy because it's easy in comparison to cooking ourselves a healthy meal. It's this resistance forces us to put a little bit more forth. I am doing good, but I'm glad you're doing well. But I'm not in school at the moment. I'm working instead. Okay, Tias. Has the working been okay for you? Has it been enjoyable? Please do tell, but I'm going to apply. Thank you for letting me know, friend. Where have you been working? If you'd be willing to share. You know what? I don't actually like this. This sounds insensitive. I don't care in the way where there is no part of me that wants to label you as, oh, Matthias is this. Matthias is Matthias to me. That's all I want actually. You go to a live broadcast and you touch the plus sign. Thank you, Red Clicker, for letting our friend know as well. Going to go to apply. Who are they? Even in death, I feel your haste. When my body hurts to laugh, lol. Thank you, Heather. I hope you feel better, my friend. Are you sick right now? Even in death, I feel your haste. Are you okay, Heather? Please do let me know, friend. Yeah, I searched r/haywire hill when I click yes to enter through Discord notif. I get server error to tap retry. Like, is that happening to anybody else? Please do let me know, friends. Ryan says, many probably know this, but I'm new. Where is Mel broadcasting from? Ryan, thank you for joining us and thank you for asking, friend. You are so welcome in this space and don't feel any resistance to asking any questions, if they've been asked or not, because usually the response is gonna be different every single time. Like I've never had a response like this, and then I said the thing that I'm saying now, and then you know what I mean. So thank you, Ryan. I live in South Africa, friend. I live in South Africa. I'm streaming from South Africa, technically from Pretoria, from a friend's place right now. Where are you from? Hey, where he was located. There you go. Australian healthcare system is not very good. My diabetes medication costs $6.40 per script. It's a lot of money if you're not working. Is that like per month? Like, what is the prescription? How long does the prescription last for? South Africa. There we go. Thank you, STC, SCP. America is the third world country dressed in Gucci. Ooh, that is quote. That quote is really so on point, Cobb. Hmm. America is a third world country dressed in Gucci. Dressed in Gucci and with guns. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not saying that all Americans, love guns, but in this scenario where America is a third world country and is wearing Gucci, with the amount of money that the military really spends, there has to be guns, just to complete the look. No, this is South Africa, is right. D1, D2, thank you. D2, I have about 6 scripts I have to get every month regularly, and then the other medication on top of it I need. So like $6, so like $36. Like that's still a lot cheaper than people in America are paying right now, dwarf. So I'm happy that it's not that expensive at least. Diabetes is a drag. It is. Like one of the things that I've heard good things from is people going keto to help them with their diabetes, which is very interesting as well. Literally, your body needs less insulin because you're not eating carbohydrates. So people stop using their insulin injections. Yeah, it's capitalism. That is what is wrong. Yep, global, like it's government violence cartel. It really is, eBay. It really is, and they're the only ones that are allowed to do it as well. And they're allowed to spend your money. They're allowed to borrow money from their future generations right now, funding their ability to commit violence against you or anybody else. Technically, still you, still fundamental I consciousness, no matter what person that is. And we're like, yeah, yay. Ooh. And some people love the government. Some people really, not a lot of people, fortunately. But some people are so, like, rule bound that there is no possibility or explanation. And the thing is as well, I've had this conversation with my father, and his response to this conversation is that the Bible says you're supposed to be subservient to your government. And I look him dead in the eye, and I ask him, don't you think that is a little bit suspicious? And he says to me, it's the word of God. How can I be suspicious of that? And then I understand. And then all of it makes perfect sense. I'm like, oh, that's how the government is doing it. That's how they've been doing it, brother. It's not working anymore. Can't work anymore. Won't work anymore. And that's putting it politely. Yeah, literally. Yeah, I have peripheral neuropathy. It's a really bad, it's horrible pain, 24/7. On top of that, I have degenerative spine condition. So that is a painful AF as well. How long have you been experiencing this, dwarf? If you'd be willing to share, friend. Sympathies. But yeah, insulin costs nothing to make. It's criminal to charge people lots for it. Fortunately, people are literally creating open source initiatives for insulin right now, which genuinely encourages me as well. Yeah, it's a surgery. People have to sometimes get a hole drilled in their skull. Now, I understand what it is. There's too much pressure. There was a guy here who had to do an emergency surgery in the outback, and a guy who had an accident and used a hand drill. That does not sit right. Agree, it affects many people, and people don't know much about it. A foolish man seeks happiness in the distance. A wise man who rows it under his feet. Ooh! 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 Mixed to death. You know, you come in so hot every single time, friend. Then you've been here with us. Damn. Yeah, I love that. That's exactly what it's supposed to be. Oh, I like that. Took me noggin, right? Perfectly. The Buddha said that happiness is living in the moment. He was onto something. It was really onto something. What do you say?
What?
What do you say, bitch?
You fucking say something
What
to
do
me?
you fucking say?
You go, bro?
Let's go, bro. You get a shot, huh? How about you get a shot? Dude, you think I'm gonna lose, Christian? I just don't know how I'm going to explain to our friends that I've killed you.
So I just created vocal AI.
Vocal AI that's gonna simulate Christian. Yeah, you know, like I've been conditioning you, friends, slowly but surely, keeping him out of frame for most of it. Little did you know, I've been voicing him like a Muppet or a ventriloquist dummy this whole time. I'm joking. Happiness is knowing that death is an illusion, life is a dream, and I exist eternally in absolute peace and harmony. That's the way I would complete it. KT triple or quadruple eight. Beautiful. Yeah, I feel that completely. You are free. You are at peace. You go through experiences that might feel otherwise, but they can never take you. You know, the you that you are, the I consciousness. They could smother it. They could potentially, in an interpretation, end it. You know, end the body through which it's being experienced. But that consciousness, that awareness, that I, is ceaseless. And in that way, death is also not something to be feared. Christian says this thing where he's like, death is something that you have to earn. We don't deserve to die yet. Or we haven't earned death yet. We still have a lot to do. Huh? How about that? Keep living, friend. Please. Please keep living. Reading it, thinking about it, tasting it. Yep, yep, yep. It's easy to say that when you have a roof over our heads, health, and food to eat, we are happy. But I feel like it's more than that. The thing is, Heather, we're not happy just with having those things. Like, alongside having a roof over your head, health, and food to eat, you absolutely need some sort of medium to experience life through as well. Be it some people throw themselves into work, some people, you know, go into family, a lot of people, you know, make life friends, and in that way we create these social bonds. And those social bonds, at least in my life, have been the things that have helped me gain a lot of happiness. At least, not gain happiness, maybe allowed me to experience happiness. Because it was this beautiful mirror of watching others' happiness, you know. And I think maybe that's something about humanity as well, is we enjoy the happiness of others. If only us, only me is the happy one throughout everything, that also becomes a drag. That also becomes depressive. Making or doing things in this world that help people, you know, experience a little bit more happiness is something that I feel is of so much value. And it's literally why we're doing what we're doing right now. You friends are making me happy in this moment, and if I can share even a fraction of that happiness back with you, thank you for allowing me to. Interesting ideas here. I wish I was smart when I was your age. Now I am in the correction phase of my life. You think I'm smart? You think I'm smart? I feel like my correction phase is coming, dude. Uh, and I'm crying. I cry every night. Cry, cry, cry. Uh, I don't necessarily cry. I haven't cried proper tears like that much. I used to cry a lot more. I wonder what changed with that. I don't necessarily think I've become more masculine. I think I've calmed down a little bit, maybe. Maybe I've allowed myself to suffer less. I'm overanalyzing my own behavior now, sorry. You're right. I have tried exercising and physical therapy, though each injury and just daily existence. Unfortunately, ever since the first time I gave birth and my hips dislocated, my hips have been partially dislocating so often it barely hurts. Okay. So the fact that you're saying it barely hurts, is that I'm guessing that's a good thing at least, right, Scorpio? I feel resistance. We always do, Uncle Angus. We always do. And there's something about our masculine natures that has this will slash drive to go forward, this single pointed focus, and then moving towards that with a unwavering certainty and commitment. Something about masculine energy that does that, right? So maybe resistance is just supposed to be the cap on that, the limiter, the thing to be broken through, the measuring stick, whatever you want to call it. Whatever you call it, it's still gonna be you. This is why I'm being evaluated for hip surgery on the 29th. I'm happy to hear it still, Scarmelia. Like, it's going to be soon then. The 29th. Okay, that's actually, what, 20 days? No, a little bit less than 20 days from now. E-Bear says, Melt, your color combos are always so jamming. It's nice, bright, creative, a shock for the mind. E-Bear, you're flattering me, friend. Thank you so, so, so much. Like, I'm happy that it's so stimulating because you're gonna be seeing these outfit combinations for a long time. Probably for a long time. And maybe we'll keep getting new and more scarves. Like that's my ideal right now. I don't want to get any more shirts. I want to wear these shirts until they either don't fit me anymore or until they fall off of my body. But then I want to have multiple scarves to kind of like cycle through as well. I already have 8? No, 6? 6. All of them gifts. I'm so happy. So yeah, thank you again, E-Bear. Ryan says, from San Diego, California here. My wife was born in South Africa, Joburg, but left back to USA when she was too little to remember. I'm happy for her, dude. Is life in America good, Ryan? Are you and your wife happy in America? Do you feel like you want to continue staying there? Do you want to like build a life there? Sorry if these questions are very personal, but these are the things I'm thinking about, especially in the context of her being here. Potentially could have grown up and lived here as well, but now gets to experience life on the other side of the world. Mm-hmm. That got me borrowing from future people to harm people now. Isn't that weird? Oh goodness. So I visited SA 20 years ago. Favorite spot was Naisna. Naisna is pretty nice. Like, there's a bunch of wonderful places here in South Africa. I want to actually travel South Africa properly as well. It's part of the plan. It is part of the plan. Maybe I can show you friends all of South Africa. You don't have to come all the way here to experience it. You can just tune into a window that happens to be in South Africa, moving window in South Africa. America here, one of my prescription costs $347. What the fuck? Yeah, like that one prescription is enough money to basically get me oh, it would be tight, but I would be able to live a full month off of that much. One prescription, one medication prescription. That's bonkers. Yeah, I'm guessing you have to have like insurance to pay for stuff like that, and then insurance costs. What doesn't cover it? Yo, it breaks me. Funny when essay is mentioned, everyone thinks of their personal essay connections. That's just how human beings work. We try and make correlations, and it's a form of flattery to try and say me too. You know, if someone says, "Oh, I, grew up in on a farm," for example, and you say, "Oh, really? Me too." Then there's this instant show to this person that, "Oh, I've been through this experience as well. I feel a kinship with you." And in that way, we form connections by finding connections. It's literally how it works. So if someone mentions their essay thing, then there's going to be a personal connection for you as well. And in that way, human beings share so much. Technically, we, on a grand enough scale, have everything in common with everyone. We just don't really get exposed to that. Have you ever done dimethyltryptamine? Yes, I have in fact done dimethyltryptamine. How about you, friend? I'm guessing if you're willing to ask, and you're asking in the context of these conversations, probably. Why are you curious? Why are you curious? That is how governments have done it. Back to Mesopotamia and Hammurabi, Thesia back a rule set, generates violent sovereignty, and trades all other rights for compliance. It feels it feels like you're making a joke, dude. It feels like you're pretending. Like you're like, yeah, imagine how bad it would be if these things were happening. That's what my mind wants to make of it. It's like, oh yeah, that would be pretty bad, and then it's happening. And then I'm this little speck, on planet Earth. Freaking growing up with Marvel movies, yo, that shit. Imagine watching Superman as a kid. Dude saves an entire plane from hitting the ground. Saves 200 people. Actually, saves the lives of 200 people. And then the way that interpretation, the want to save people, kind of gets ingrained in your psyche. And then we do what we can, and that's technically all we can expect of ourselves, but we do expect so much of ourselves. We expect sometimes in excess, rather, just more and more and more and more. And it's okay to want things as well. It's completely okay to want things. Man, being a human being is really difficult sometimes. And then I have conversations like these, and I genuinely ask myself, is how do we do it sometimes? How is everybody just lifing? Maybe you don't need to understand any of it for it to be beautiful and for it to make sense. Don't have to understand it for it to make sense. What do you think of that, Christian?
Huh?
You don't have to understand it.
Battery low. Please recharge.
Yes. You don't have to understand it for it to make sense, Christian. Huh? You like that?
What?
Yes. You just put it back. No, I don't meditate as much as I know I should be. I have no physical ailments to tend to. It makes me realize I have more reasons to be grateful than not happy. No problems to fix as such. I probably only need a change of perspective. Meditate I shall. Naren, please, like just if for a little bit. Thank you for being willing to take that as advice. The reason I'm so passionate about that as an answer, for a lot of the things that have been asked, is just because it helped me so much. And I hear questions that people are like, oh, I've been feeling these things, I've been going through these things, and then I remember myself feeling and going through the same things, and then where that led me. We can get better, friends. We're actively getting better. Hey, thank you, Laura, for joining us again, friend. Love you. I missed everything since I commented, but hi again. Hey, Kira Burb, it's completely okay, friend. Thank you for joining us again, for sharing the space with us. What do you mean, friend? Like I don't know if he meant what I was sharing, but I guess that's what he was meaning. I love waking up and seeing Haywire Hill streams. It's still kind of surreal. I was like just talking about you as well, Uncle Becky, sharing the love. Like this is a space that you've created, man. I'm so happy to be sharing in it as well, too. Hey, Ventique Bug, thank you for joining us, my beloved friend. It's so nice to have you here. How have you been? It's been a while. They said they are an essay, and you thought of your essay connection. Not a bad thing, just a human thing. Absolutely. Killing me. Scarmelia says, since we're on the subject of prescription costs as well, there is a migraine medication. My doctor is trying to jump through the hoops for my insurance to cover. It doesn't cover the medication. Like, I'm reading the rest of the message, but my brain is instantly being damaged. If it doesn't cover the medication, then it will be over $800 per pill. That can't be real. $800 per pill for a migraine medication? Is that possible, Christian?
Huh?
$800 per pill for a migraine medication.
Uh, yeah, sure.
Why?
Why?
Why? Why? $800? How is that a thing, Christian? How does that make sense? How do you spend $24,000 a month? And that to not have migraines. I'm not saying that, the want to not have migraines shouldn't be justified. The fact that they expect you to pay that much and they are willing to exploit people who have active migraines to the point where they can charge that much and people will still pay it. Yes. Ah, it hurts. It hurts my brain. I'm gonna stop thinking about it. Melt is in my connection. You are one of the nodes of my American connections as well, Heather. It's so nice to have you here. I've missed you. No, hey, Uncle Becky. I have so much fun listening to the swap meet with you yesterday. Haven't done DMT. Sounds like a blast, though. I mean, it very much is gonna be a blast, if you will. I like lentils and peas. Yeah, DMT, the experience is such a surreal one. I feel being very grounded in your own understanding and your own self. Going into that is very necessary as well. But you can't really prepare yourself for that. There's no amount of experience of information that's going to give you insight into what you're going to experience on that side. And technically, you're going to be experiencing yourself through a level of depth that is usually not attainable with normal neurochemicals, or maybe not just normal neurochemicals, maybe just like the normal state of brain activity alongside neurochemicals. But it is a very beautiful experience, but not one I would actually actively recommend. It's a bit much. But just a little bit much. Huh, Christian?
Huh?
DMT, just a little bit much to recommend? Ugh.
I mean, it depends who you're speaking to.
It depends on who you're speaking to, but on a general base by basis, very much like if you want to have an experience, go and look at psilocybin rather, and do your own research about stuff like that, because you can control the dosage a lot easier as well, and then as a result of that, you're going to be having different interpretations of yourself through different mediums of information, or maybe just volumes of information. It helps to build yourself up a little bit in that way. I went back and read the comments. I saw you. Comments go fast sometimes. They really do, especially with your streams on Quebecy. Happiest when with people I like and not at work. My best time was a year in Montreal. Was broke, but I had the most awesome friends. And how like life changing is that? Elimi, it shows you, you don't need a lot of money to be happy. It sure the fuck is. It's a crime. It really is, see. It's an actual crime. It's an actual crime, and us humans, like, we're not law enforcement. So we're just, out crying. What the fuck, dude? And they're like, yeah, sitting in their little ivory towers. What are you gonna do about it, bitch? Want to not have a headache? How about you work yourself to death? Goodness. Same in T. Here in New York State. NY, the state. I'm not exactly sure what that means. Sorry, Heather. We had swap and shops Sunday morning at the AM station. Greatly different feel. When I hear the sound, it makes me feel home. Like, unfortunately, I don't have the same. I don't even know what sound you're talking about, unfortunately, Heather. You asked if life was good and if I was happy in the USA, and I do think of living up the places. I do, but I am in a bubble of very good fortune with my children, and I have an extended family close by, and the clock that contributes, and work that contributes to self-realization. Ooh, Ryan, all of that sounds gorgeous, my friend, and I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for you that you get to experience that. That sounds like happiness to me. You just have to be there, right? Like, it's okay to think about moving to other countries, but if you do it to the point where you're not present, that's when you're gonna be, off the wagon. And by the way that you're talking, I'm sure that's not the case, Ryan. Thank you for being willing to share with me. Have a big old hug, Marui. Will do, friend. My current bipolar. Excuse me. My current bipolar medication is $700 for 300 days supply. Well, for 30 days supply. Insurance covers it, so I pay nothing. Luckily, my insurance has deemed me medically frail. I don't know. It's like the context of that sentence. Luckily, my medical insurance deemed me frail. Sounds, at first like what? It's like a hold up moment, but the fact that they cover your stuff, yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to hear that as well as Carmedia. Emma got third in her competition, the only brass horn to make it. That's awesome, Uncle Becky. Tell her, in whatever way I can be, that I'm proud of her as well, dude. So much love to you. Hope Emma is proud. Yeah, absolutely. That's amazing. I grew up listening to it in Canada. Definitely nostalgic. Add Uncle Becky, and you have yourself some magic right there. Oh, for sure. Bravo, Emma. Be proud of yourself, girl. We sure are proud. So much love from you, friends. Thank you. Whew, thank you. I do think we're going to end today's stream, friends. Happiness. I hope we could share a little bit of happiness with one another. Do you feel a little bit happier? I hope so. I feel a little bit happier. I feel very contemplative as well, but I've found that I'm happiest when I'm contemplating things. So waking and baking, happy Saturday, y'all. Ooh, yeah, crickets, you're fun. Join us just at the cusp of the stream. Thank you for being here with us for even a second, my friend. Thanks, Cornelia. I can't see your comments, but happy you're here. Vinti, so much love to every single one of you friends. Thank you for being here with me, for sharing bits of your happiness with me as well. I look forward to seeing all of you again tomorrow. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye, Felicia.